Luke Wright, great to see you again, refreshed from your travels around the world. You've also had a terrific winter, enjoying the Big Bash and over in Dubai as well.
Yeah, it's been great fun. Yeah, on a personal note, it's been really good to get away, get some runs. Been a great winter, have the sunshine, which was great. But I was ready to get back. You know, you want to get stuck into it. So yeah, it's been great to see all the guys. I think when I left in sort of November, talking to all the guys where we wanted to be as a team, the improvements we wanted to make physically and technically or to our games. It's been nice to come back and see people have put some of that in place, and hopefully we see that transcend into the games.
How difficult has it been, Luke, with the dreadful tragic death of Matthew Hobden? I guess you were in Australia at the time when that news broke.
Yeah, it was I mean, what can you say? I mean, it was a strangest day. I had a personal highlight of, you know, I got my 100 against the Renegades in front of 80,000 at the MCG, and going out celebrating that to get in and get a call from Mark Robinson to find out was obviously talk about from high to low. Look, it's horrendous. It's something I went through with Tom Maynard as well. So I know where some of Hobbs's real best, you know, top mates are in the team. It's tough. It's not something that just goes away. I think even reporting day one, you miss him. He's not there. I think even looking as a squad, we miss him not being in the squad. You know, he was improving massively, and for me as a captain, looking round, you know, I miss not having him there. And as a bloke, his locker's there. It's something that's going to be with us for the rest of your life. So it's something we've got to manage as well for the guys. It's tough. We've obviously got some things that we're going to be dedicating throughout the year and the first home game here, but it's managing it. You still have days where you have your ups and downs with him, but it's something that can bring you all together, and we've got to use it as a positive to be together.
And you're going to be the man at the helm. Your T20 last year, Championship this year. How much are you looking forward to that role?
Yeah, I am. I think in a way, taking on the squad at the most vulnerable in a way, when you've just gone down, a lot of young guys not having the results they wanted to personally. People take things on a bit easier than when they're scoring runs and think they're probably, you know, sometimes ahead of the game than they were they are. So it's a squad that was listening, along with obviously with a fresh coach with Davo. We had similar ideas of where we wanted to make a move, and to be honest, it's the first year in almost a 3-year plan that we've got. Obviously we want results straight away, but we know now with the things we're trying to put in place, if it's this year or next year, we know fundamentally it will make us a better squad going forward to be more ready for the first division and white ball cricket as well. But and again with the young guys, with our financial restraints now we're in place with the club, we've got to be tighter on money. So it's all things that we've got to blood guys coming through and get all those standards up from where we've been. And if we can do that, if it takes a year, 2 years or 3 years, it's leaving the jersey in a better place, as they say.
And talking about money, for all of that, still two very good signings in the winter, Ross Taylor and Danny Briggs. Just talk a bit about both of those two players.
Yeah, well, I think both of them we've been lucky that want to play cricket. With Danny, I think fair play to him. He's probably made a financial sacrifice from the contract he was on at Hampshire, which when you get guys willing to do that, you instantly know you're onto a winner. You know, rather than signing for big money, you know they're coming for the right reasons. He's a great signing for us, Danny. He's someone I found he's been a huge asset for them in white ball cricket at Hampshire. He's been a big part of their success. And he's someone that's improving in red ball form as well. And you sort of, when you play against him, forget he's only 24. I feel like he's sort of my age. The way he goes about his business, everything he just cracks on. He's so low maintenance. So the captain as a coach, he's great to have around. And Ross is, again, speaking to him, luckily knew him, playing with him, so got to give him a call and ask him if he's happy to come for some bread and water and play a bit of cricket. But no, he's been great. He said he didn't want to go to the IPL. He's always wanted to play some 4-day cricket as well. Over here, his family's a young family, want to come to a nice family club, be by the sea. So it worked well. And again, we've probably been fortunate with what he could have asked us for. He's been good. So I think we've signed really well, along with sort of out the box signing with I'm going to call him Mushy from Bangladesh, just to make it easier. But they're the sort of things we have to do now. We can't go out there and necessarily just go and pay the earth to get people, but you've just got to be smarter on how we get people.
And talk about that signing, because you made quite an impression in the T20 for Bangladesh.
Well, yeah, well, even when people, it was announced, you know, a few Sussex fans forgetting almost where we are, you know, are expecting, you know, a Maxwell or someone we can just sign and think that we've got the money. But As I say, we have to think outside the box, but he's someone through me, me playing with all these different guys, I've not heard anyone say they think he's unbelievable. I mean, from Sangakkara to all the Pakistani internationals, some of the other top Indian players, everyone we spoke to has said he's amazing. So looking at his results, he's getting amazing results as well. Bowled brilliantly in the World Cup. I got a message from Ross Taylor actually in the game he got runs against him, said we've signed a hell of a player, which was nice to see. But again, the challenge is going to be for him doing it in English conditions. But I think we've got someone very exciting that the crowd can be excited about, and we get millions of Bangladeshi fans suddenly Sussex fans, aren't they? So I'm excited for him. Watching him, I think he looks a great little signing.
And when you're away, Luke, is that very much sort of on your mind and on your agenda? You're thinking about players who just might fancy coming to Hove? Yeah,
I'm tapping up every overseas going all the time, trying to find out what money they'd want and whatever. I think that's something I've had to do all the way through. And one thing going back to sort of the schedule in a way was it's hard to get players who are willing to come. I mean, a Ross Taylor doesn't come up very often because he doesn't need to come over and play county cricket financially for himself or in that stage of his career. So most of them aren't as fussed to come, or the guys who you want to come for 2020 don't want to come for 2.5, 3 months. So they'd love to come for a short stint. So it's been tough, you going around asking people, but it's certainly an advantage when, for myself, getting to go to them directly rather than just through agents or even finding out about players. I get to ask some of the top players about what they think.
Let's talk about another new signing. He's on the backrooms coach, and he's Murray Goodwin. How important? Because there was a lot of talk last year, Luke, about the club needed a batting coach. What was your perception of that? Was that something that was needed?
Yeah, I think it's become the modern way of needing more people, hasn't it, and more coaches. But I think it was just looking at enough way we were going, not always technically, but the way people were batting. Not making probably enough strides in their method, really, more than anything. I'm a huge believer in method over technique. I think that you can see there's not one technique that works. All different things work, but it's how people bat and use their technique to advantage, which is your method. So when we got speaking to Muzz, I mean, he's probably the greatest batter we've ever had. And who better to talk to about method? So for us, along with the passion he has for the club, he didn't want to leave when he did. So it sort of fitted brilliantly.
And is that working with established players or working with younger players? Where's his focus going to be, Luke?
Well, it's everyone, isn't it? I think we can all improve. I think the day you stop wanting to improve is the day you probably should give up. So he's for us all there. We can all get better. But, for the guys coming through as well, to learn off Muzz, as I said, there's instant respect there, knowing what he's done for the club and who he is. So he's a message that I want as captain, and along with Davo, to have someone like him can hopefully only be a benefit.
Talk about respect. You've been one of the lads in the dressing room. I know not in T20, but now you're the championship skipper. You're the figurehead of the club. How difficult is that for you from guys who are your mates? You're now the skipper of the club.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not too different. I mean, I've had the chats with some of the guys that I'm really close to and said, look, any decisions I make are never going to be personal. It's always for everyone. It's just based on what I think is best for the club. That's probably the hardest part of being captain, the dropping people and leaving out. You want to pick everyone, but I suppose as I've got older and you have your family and your kids, I live outside of Hove, you naturally sort of want to lead anyway, and whether you're captain or not. So it's something I'm looking forward to. I quite like making the tough decision because I want us to get better, and hopefully they respect me for that. If they don't, then they can move on and go somewhere else.
Chris Jordan, we haven't spoken about him. What about his performances in this World T20?
Well, I think, again, sometimes you're not expecting New England players to keep improving as much as he has, and seeing the way he's bowled, especially at the end, he's made a massive move, even from his trip in South Africa, really. I think he's shown the benefit of selectors and coaches sticking by you, which makes a big difference. But for us, again, planning for white ball cricket, it's great to see him really making a move, along with those other signings. So for me, when I sit down at the minute and write down teams, etc., looking what we've got, suddenly our bowling attack, which has been an area of concern for white ball cricket for a while, suddenly looks a lot stronger with him in, and you want your England players to come back and perform for you, and if he does that, then fantastic.
How much credit does Sussex take for Chris Jordan's development? Because when he came here from Surrey, he wasn't putting up any trees at the Oval, but he had loads of potential. Yeah,
I think you have to take, the club should take massive on. There's a lot along with him. You need your player to work at it yourself, but you need the coaches there to support you. And He's a great example of someone who was career stalling, came here, worked really hard, did the right things, knuckled down, and he's getting the results now, and that's what you want to see, isn't it? So he's almost the inspiration, hopefully, for a lot of the younger guys. And I keep saying it can literally be 4 games. You can suddenly go from being in the second team to first team to suddenly getting on England's radar, and you get 100 on TV or wherever it is, and next minute you get the call up. And there's a lot of spaces after the way we've played. There's positions up for grabs. There's no one has a divine right to play for this club. So if people are getting results and someone isn't, then they'll play.
What about your own fitness, Luke?
No, I'm fine. I was carrying my daughter on a flight through, as you know, many parents will realise, on a little 2-year-old on a flight all the way back from Australia, not getting much sleep. So I was up and down the plane carrying her, and just had a slight bulging disc when I got back. It's nothing bad. I've had an injection in it. I'm absolutely fine to crack on tomorrow. But yeah, it's been a bit of a frustration. But in a way, it's given me a bit of a forced rest, and it's given me a chance to actually sit back and really watch the guys and see how they're getting on.
And you spoke in November, I had a question about players and development and fitness as well. There was a feeling that perhaps some of the players could have been fitter last year. Is that something that's been worked on during the winter, Luke? Massively.
I think it's a no-brainer, isn't it? You're a professional sportsman, that's the least thing you can get right. So again, going back to that, the plan, it's not just, you know, one winter suddenly gets everyone to being, you know, the best they can be. It's a 3-year plan. We've been Davo's been very reasonable with the fitness coaches. They know it's not going to be just straight in results now, but they're a hell of a lot better than where we were last year. And if we can do the same again next year and the next year, by year 3, then we should be in a great spot physically. And it's also the message you send down, you know, to the youth sides, that they've got to be to get into this side. That's the whole thing I want. I felt that at times it was too easy to get into this Sussex side. When I came through, it was very, very hard, and demands on you were very high to even get a crack, and those little sloppiness in terms of performances and physically were just starting to creep in, and that's something we've had to try and stamp out.
And also one more question, push my luck. The cricket you play in T20 is an exciting brand of cricket. Are you looking to bring that to Championship cricket as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think, well, we have to if we're going to go up. As we said, there's one going up. So in terms of teams, I'll always try and pick a more aggressive side if I have to, because you've got to win games. So I'm definitely on that front. In terms of declaration, the same. It's going to have to be, we're going to have to risk it. We're going to probably be on the wrong side of it at times trying to get a win, because we want to force for that first place. So that's just the way it is. I understand that. But again, it's as I keep going back to this, whether it's this year or next year, it's trying to get this bunch of players and this squad ready to compete in the first division, not just to be an up and down side. And if that takes 2 years to go up, then so be it. I know everyone wants to go up, and of course we do, but I want us to build to actually go to try and win something, rather than just be someone who just sort of hangs around.
Northampton on Sunday, what game are you expecting up there?
Well, I think they're going to be a tough side again this year. I look at their bowling attack. I think they're a tough team, but again, it'd be interesting first and foremost for me getting there on Saturday, seeing what the wicket's like, whether we get to decide if we're going to bowl. You naturally think every time you're just going to bowl because it's this time of year, but I suppose that's going to be the first and foremost. But again, we keep drilling the message, it's not going to be easy. We're going to have to play great cricket, and if the wickets are going to be invariable, then you're going to miss out on a few of those results just being on the wrong end of them. But we've got to be strong and come through that.